Hello! Welcome to the stream, big ups. I'm gonna make sure everything is running as it should be. Just give me a second. Big ups to everyone streaming right now. Or tuning in even. The wrong thing. Look. Here we are. So, today we're talking about Man City injuries, basically. And not just our injuries, it's also the fact of how we've handled injuries throughout the entire season, not as of late with some all that, but throughout the entire season. I'd like to really look at it because I think it kind of brought our downfall to an extent, and why these injuries have impacted us so bad, essentially. Just make sure my hair's alright. Let's go straight to the market. I can really bring up my third. Big everyone's tuned in. Happy New Year. Everyone this is out there yet. But the number one example I want to start with for this, because it's probably affected our season more than we'll ever know, is Rodri. Look straight onto him now. Screen. Yeah. So there you have it, Rodri. Look, Rodri has been very good for injuries. Can't be fixed at anything. Until July, I believe he got injured in the Euro final. He played his hand and he got injured because of it. And it was a bad knock, and it kept him out of the game for, just look there, July, over a month until he was back with the squad at the very least. But again, he didn't play until, and if we played, it was ish. And again, appreciate the good there. There you go. September 23rd, which means I believe that was played on a Sunday, and I believe we played Inter on Wednesday, so that means it was on the 20th of September. So yeah. So that was a big injury. But the thing is here was Pep recently, left. He's speaking about the schedule and all that, and it's a valid complaint, but then he goes on to mention how he had to rush Rodri back from injuries because he needed him for Inter and Arsenal. Hearing about that frustrated me so much. It was such a difficult one to read because I don't get why we would do that. Why we would rush a player back. But me personally, from now on inward, I just want my players back fully fit. I want them back when they're completely ready. No more worry about the injuries coming back and anything like that. Can't believe the music's been playing the whole time. Big ups, MCFR. Comments haven't come through on EV Mux yet. There we go. Apologies there. I know we've had some comments. Big ups. Apologies for not reading comments. They weren't appearing on EVMux, and I realised that the music was playing the whole time, which means I basically got to start from scratch. Happy New Year. Music is still on. Big ups for letting me know. Sadly, I couldn't read that until later on, but big ups for tuning in either way. Last night on the way back was absolutely mad. Heaviest rain we've ever had in Greater Manchester. For 12 hours, the river near me was 2 centimetres from flooding us. Loads of cars parked and were flooded, cars underwater on roads. 2025, it's just mad. Seems like 2 seconds ago I found your channel. I know, 2023 it all started. And now we're in 2025. Insane. But nonetheless, big ups. I hope everyone's 2024 was really good, and I hope 2025 will be better for everyone. Happy New Year to everyone tuning in. Happy New Year to everyone who's watching this, and Happy New Year to anyone who happens to find a clip of me saying Happy New Year. Big ups to everyone, and I hope 2025 bears fruit for us all. But without further ado, I'm going to jump straight into this, which is a bit of a negative topic, I believe, but I think it's something that needs to be spoken about. You see the Olmo news. I know that he's on risk of becoming a free agent, which is mental. Apparently, Barcelona doing literally everything they can to try and make it happen. But man, apparently his agent's been saying almost not considering playing for any other team but Barca. But what if we gave Olmo a really good offer? He's a free agent now. Yeah, there you go. Barca fighting every corner they can to try and get him back. I know they've tried to appeal it, but it's just not going their way at the moment. Is playing for City that bad for Olmo? Come on. But Barca, I get it. It's the weather is nice and it's Barcelona, big team. But you get to play with arguably Barca's best manager or one of their best. You get to work with him. You'll get to be with your international teammate Rodri when he eventually comes back. I think Olmo could adjust to life in Manchester. And with the right people around him, I think it could really work out. The agent said that before the appeal and got rejected, so maybe now it's rejected. He'll think to choose a club. Yeah, I mean, if it was me, I would. I wouldn't even want to join Barcelona, to be honest. I get that that's easy for me to say. I'm not Spanish. I'm not a Barca fan. I've got no real affiliation to Barca. But with the state they're in, from a career perspective, I wouldn't go to Barca because they're financially just such a mess right now. But City, we need a hero. Olmo, I don't know if he's that hero, but that could be the headline if he came in. Vardy and Olmo are best friends, are amazing friends, best friends. In fact, there you go. There's another plus. There's another one. But anyway, of course, we're going to talk about the off-topic stuff, but on a whole, we are going to talk about this now, which I did try to, but the music was still on, which is my bad. But anyway, so as you can see, Rodri, he's the first player we're going to look at because this injury has probably affected our season more than we will ever know. Picked up an injury in the Euro final, I believe it was, got subbed off at half-time, if my memory serves, and came back end of August, according to this. Relatively sized injury. Didn't miss too many games for us because, well, he was not long back, and it was due at the end of the Euros, which meant, the summer break, and then the Premier League came back in pre-season. Didn't play in our pre-season, of course, but, those don't really count. But, yeah, on a whole, it was a pretty bad injury, but, he got over it, supposedly. And then he picked up this awful one on the 23rd of September, which is 22nd, I believe it would have been, actually. Because the 23rd is a Monday. And he's missing almost 200 days, according to this. That's if he comes back on March 31st, but we'll see. We'll see about that. What was I going to say? Yeah, the thing that annoys me here is that Pep said that recently, maybe less than a month ago, and maybe a month ago at the very tops, he said that he had to rush Rodri back from an injury so that he could have him for Arsenal and Inter. And it just frustrates me because imagine we didn't rush Rodri back. Sure, maybe we lose to Inter and we lose to Arsenal. Okay, maybe that happens. Okay, let's just say it does. Okay, but if we give Rodri the time he needs, maybe he could have come back fully fit. You know? Also played against Brentford. I believe played second half. Rodri treatment was a disgrace. Did you see? Yeah, I feel really bad for him. You know, don't get me wrong, I don't think Xerxes playing well. Of course, I watched that game, so did you. I don't think Xerxes playing well, but the whole team was playing bad. It was really bad. I don't get why you do that. For a player new into the country to do that, to get in his head like that, it's not going to help him play better. What are United fans going to get out of that? You know? Rodri treatment was a disgrace. Yeah, he got rushed back from injury, okay? And then he picks up a huge injury. And we live to regret it. Remember last season when he was crying about a backup, like Pep joked about it in the press conference. He'll drop him as a joke. Yeah, I think the signs were there. Rodri was saying, like, I remember him saying, like, I need a break. You know, I need a rest. And, you know, absolutely, why not? He plays an unbelievable amount of football. And just look at it. His injury record is insane. For, 21, 22, 22, 23, 23, 24, no injuries. That's an insane amount of football he must have been playing. Sure. Okay, he didn't play every single game, but I'm sorry, last season he almost did. Only thing that basically kept him out were red cards and the occasional cup game. And the previous 2 seasons, I know he played a lot of football at the very least. And even look at the knock he picked up. Didn't even keep him out for a game. He was gone for 1 day. So you could say he's out for 4 days, 4 years without any proper injuries. And look, a muscle injury that only kept him out 5 games. He's had nothing like this, and we decided the best thing to do was to rush him back. Do you like my Mahrez profile picture? Let me put it on screen so I get a better look at it. Oh, why did I say Mahrez? Yeah, it's cool. I don't know where I saw Mahrez there. Yeah, it looks cool. It does look cool. Got Ronaldo there. I believe that's Ronaldo. I believe that's him. Big ups for tuning in, though, Yusuf, and Happy New Year. Hope you're doing well. But yeah, on Rodri, I just can't believe we rushed him back. I don't get where the sense was in that. I don't know why Pep would even admit that. Like, what do you get from that? What, you get him for a couple games, but you highly risk him getting injured. But then you're saying certain in like press conferences that, you know, Kanji's not quite ready. We'll see tomorrow. Where was that for Rodri? You know, why are we so obsessed with, like, don't get me wrong, I know Rodri's the best player in the world, or at least was at the time. You know, he won Ballon d'Or, he has to be. But, like, where is the sense at rushing him back? It just doesn't make sense. I don't think that works in my head. I get it, you have Mahrez on your mind, you miss him, we all do. Yeah, Mahrez, what a player. I liked his Yusuf, big ups, Mad, and look, if everyone who views the stream could like, that would be amazing. because likes are really important. Help the channel. Each one does a little bit of help, and so 100 likes. I'm not asking for 100 likes, but 100 likes would do a lot of help. Is basically what I'm trying to say. 1 like does a little bit. 10 likes does a good bit, and 100 likes does a ton of help. So, will Man City rush Rodri back? It's not about will. It's if we'll do it again. But no, we won't do it again. Not after this. We must have learned our lesson. And from a huge injury like this, I think we'd be blatant stupid to rush him back. Even though it says he'll come back in March, I don't think we're going to see him. The most we'll see him is at the last game of the season. Okay, I'm talking about the actual club season, Club World Cup. I don't know how that's going to work. Rodri says he wants to try be back for then. And if he can be, brilliant. But honestly, Rodri, sit it out if you can. Because I don't know about you guys, I'm not that arsed about Club World Cup. Man, just casually swore there. Oh well. I'm not that bothered about Club World Cup. It's not all that. I think the trophy looks silly, and for me, it's just a cash grab competition from FIFA. That's my opinion on it, anyway. So when will Rodri be back? May at the earliest. But I think next season would probably be right. MCFC connecting the city. Happy New Year. Happy New Year, Elijah Lawson. Big ups for tuning in. I hope you're well, and I hope your New Year's Eve and New Year's Day celebrations have gone quite well. In my opinion, we should use the Club World Cup as pre-season. If not, we have like a 2-week break. I agree to some extent. Next round is fine. You should don't take it serious from my experience when United beat us. All right. You might see a couple more here and there then. We'll see. Big ups to everyone tuning in though. But yeah. As for the Club World Cup, but according to what I've read, don't we have to play our main squad from what I heard? I think that's ludicrous, by the way. But still, use that to your advantage where you can. If that's an opportunity to give players like James McAtee, Nico Riley, Oscar Bob, and Rico Lewis doesn't really need it because he plays all the time. But if it's a chance to give those players that don't get as many minutes as they usually could, play them. They're first teamers. They're on the bench every game. Why not? Why not? It's a chance against decent teams to get it right. Anyway, Rodri. Prime example of rushing back from an injury and suffering the consequences, because best player in the world and we're missing him for basically the whole season. On to next one. Now then, bear in mind, this guy's always been a bit injury prone is the perfect word. A very commonly used word, and you can see it all here. A player very hindered by injuries, sadly. It can't be helped. It's how your body is, but it can be helped to some extent as well, because if he gets rushed back from an injury, then he's not going to play much, Just here, look, unknown injury, November 1st to November 18th, 17 days, that's 4 games. And we'll have a look at what games he missed, by the way. Comes back 5 days later, gets another injury. You can't tell me that is not coming back. You can't tell me that that's not him being injured again. And right now, I believe he's picked up some sort of injury because he's not even been on bench. So he's technically on 3 injuries. Con transfer market is only on 2, but I believe he's on a 3rd injury at the moment. He's missed 10 games this season in 2024 alone. And we'll have a look at the games that he missed. So, he missed our last 3 Champions League games. Missed Liverpool at home. Could have really used him there. We went fine against Forest. Palace at home, we were defensively costly there. On the bench versus United, played 45 minutes versus Villa, called it when he got subbed off for John Stones, for Kyle Walker. And yeah, if this isn't an injury, I don't know what is, because he gets subbed off at half time, then isn't in the squad for the next few games. Must be an injury, like, surely. Sorry, your comment was throwing me off. Oh my god, a lot of comments. Big ups to everyone. Your comment was throwing me off there. I was trying to read Savio, but I was trying to say Savinho. Savio, Han, Bob, it could be beautiful. If we don't beat West Ham, I'll be so disappointed and down. It will be just another huge setback. Just saying, I think we beat them 4-0. We need to beat them. 2 wins on the trot could go a long way, because then we can go on and beat Salford. That's 3 wins in a row. We should beat Salford, by the way, if we don't beat Salford. Any news on Bob? I heard it's February. Yeah, I've heard similar. I'd bring McAtee on at half time. I wouldn't throw him in because he hasn't played much football. So if he starts and doesn't perform well, people go in on him. True. It's not a bad point. I won't be let down if he starts though, but I understand what you're saying there. Understand. Transfer list: Man City, centre back, CDM, left wing, left back. Next season we should manage Rodri's minutes. To be fair, Rodri's had a huge rest now, but I agree that we shouldn't be so what's the word for it? Like, we shouldn't just be so willing to play him 90 minutes. Like, if you're somehow 3-0 up at half time, you know, maybe it's been 90 minutes, 45 minutes, you're 3-0 up at half time, sub him off. If we somehow go and bottle the game from there, it's their fault, not Rodri's. But I agree, some management needs to happen. Any transfer news update? I am doing a transfer video. Well, it's already done. It is releasing. I'm not going to say when, but it's going to be in the next 24 hours. Could be in an hour. Could be in 2. You'll see. De Bruyne out to new CM. Yeah, I think De Bruyne a new CM. I think we need a new CM either way. Also, if we don't sign a new player by Brentford away, I'll be streaming and raging if we ain't serious. Yeah. When it's Brentford away, is that after Salford? If we haven't signed anyone by then, I'm not going to be happy. But I'll only start ranting about that if we're not even linked. Like, if I can't see that we're in talks with anyone, and reliably in talks, then yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to do, because the club rumored to make 2 or 3 signings. We should have one of those signings done by halfway through the window. So I do agree with you there. But we need to be in talks. Talks need to be happening now. Talks need to be happening tomorrow. No days off. Yeah, not talks, I meant, sorry. Yeah, no worries. Yeah, but John Stones, like, even here, it is partly just due to injury proneness, because he wasn't playing an awful ton of minutes here. He wasn't playing a ton. He got injured with. Did he get injured with England? No, I'm thinking of Ake, I believe. But even he wasn't playing a ton. On the bench versus Chelsea, only played 40 minutes versus Ipswich. On the bench versus West Ham. Played the majority of the game versus Brentford. Got 12 minutes against Arsenal. Big ups to him for that. Saved us. On the bench next game, 12 minutes this game. Played the 90 here, 1 minute here, and then gets an injury. We rush him back. He gets injured again. Comes back. This wasn't a rush back. I don't think. It depends if did he play for England? Because it could have been a rush back if he played for England. I don't think he did, because it doesn't say he missed games for England in his injury record. So I think he sat that one out, but then he came back against Tottenham. So technically rushed back. In some sense. Comes back here. injured again. We need to stop rushing a player like John Stones, who's already got a bad enough injury record as it is, especially John Stones. Rodri, it's kind of unpredictable, but John Stones, he could get injured if you look at him the wrong way, in no offence to him. Moving on, Nathan Ake. Biggest all the comments, by the way. After stream, check out my poll connect. Alright, I'll try to remember. I want Man City in talks by Fabrizio or Romano or David Ornstein. Fabrizio Romano, David Ornstein, or Jack Gorn. No more rubbish sources. I know. One thing about Stones, miraculously fit for everything and game, but never a games for City. Ake injured recently. No, thank the Lord, but he has been known to be injured. He has been able to pick up injuries, sadly. So, at the moment, he's on 2 injuries. This needs to update because he is back. He's played like 2 games now. How do I get to that? Yeah. So, it's 2 injuries already so far. Current season. Here we go. I know he picked up the first one against... it must have been against Germany, I'm going to guess, because he missed the next game. Wait, is that the next game? No, that's next month. But, yeah, I'm pretty sure that he got injured with Netherlands, because I remember doing a stream on it. It's a bad injury to pick up already. Didn't even play much here. Only got 2 minutes in for us before he went on international break. Got picked up an injury, out for 4 weeks. Was on the bench. He managed it quite well to begin, but then we brought him back, and then he got supposedly injured again, because there was a worry that he got injured again. I think what was the game? Wasn't it when Simpson Poussey came on? We got told that he got subbed off due to a knock. That could have easily been a third injury. Now then, whether he's playing with injury against Leicester or not, we still need to watch it because, again, very soon after that injury, I know it's 11 days, but again, it's just something to watch out for because the amount of injuries we're picking up. Great stream so far, big ups. It's just mad to watch our current injury record, especially in the defence. Vardy has been brilliant, but basically everyone else, it's a big worry for. Ruben Diaz now, and to my knowledge, he's not really super injury prone. He does pick up more injuries than some players, but he's not that bad in terms of injuries. Like last season, for example, didn't pick up anything. But this season, last win we got before our awful run was against Southampton. He got injured someplace in between that and missed 7 games, came back, and now he's going to be out for another 4 weeks, I believe it was. Or that was about 2 weeks ago. So we're going to have him back, supposedly, by the Brentford game, which hopefully we're going to be fine. But because of that, we've already missed 6 games without Diaz on this injury. And so what's before Brentford now? West Ham, Salford, that goes up to 8. That'll be 15 games without our arguably best. In terms of just defending, Diaz is the best one. I think we can all agree. Played... I think this is also something to watch. 90 minutes. 90 minutes. 90 minutes. 90 minutes. Again, for a player that just came back from injury, got injured here and then played just over a week later. For a player that just got back from injury, playing straight 360 minutes, it is just something. Could we not have done anything? I know against United, big game, you need your best players, but could we have not, even against Liverpool, playing Diaz because we needed him to play against Liverpool makes sense. But, because he came back from injury, maybe just playing for the half against Forest or 60 minutes if you can manage it. I know we needed our best players. I know we've been going through injuries. But, Simpson Poussey, if we trusted Simpson Poussey to go and play 3 very difficult away games, honestly, why can't this just apply elsewhere to help finish off a game? TV better stop showing me summer holiday adverts. It's TNT Sports idiots. Our defensive season is either rubbish or injury prone. Spot on with all your points. Our midfield this season is slow as Ericsson and Casemiro. I'll bring this up again. I tend to mention it a few times because what you're saying there is kind of what I've been saying. Watching certain midfield combinations that we've been playing this season, for example, classic in some of our awful runs, is Gundo, Bernardo, and look, I don't think it gets better when you add in Kovacic too. Those 3 in the midfield, I don't think it works very well. I think that's kind of well established. I think it works better. I think Kova works better when working with one of them as opposed with 2 of them. I think he just works better like that. I think when it's 3 of them, it's quite down. But when it's 2 of them, and Kova's one of them, the midfield can work. But on that run, I mentioned someplace on the way, because I know we played that a little bit. I mentioned that watching our midfield at the moment is almost like watching Liverpool's midfield from a couple of years back. Fabinho, Jordan Henderson, James Milner, one of the most dead midfields I've ever seen. It got called out, it got laughed at, and in the summer it got rebuilt. Look at their midfield now: Gravenberch, McAllister, Szoboszlai. You could throw in Harvey Elliott there as well if you want. And who knows what else they've got? They got Endo as well in terms of a player that's a bit older and can slot in there. So, they've got an amazing midfield now, Liverpool. Just within the span of a couple of seasons, they've gone from a awful aged midfield to a young, energetic, exciting midfield. And our midfield is, they're all 30 plus. Gundo, what is he, 34, 33? De Bruyne, 32, 33. Kovacic, 31. Bernardo, 31, something like that. They're in that area. I know that for sure. They're all getting on. They're all in the back end of their City careers, potentially. I don't see all of them being with us in the next 2 years, to be honest. I'd be surprised if 3 out of the 4 are still there. But again, just back to Diaz real quick. When it's a player like our man Diaz, we need to help him. We need to, if he feels something in the slightest, the likelihood is that he got injured against United and he decided to play it out and try and finish the game. And that's probably the likelihood, because he would have been subbed off earlier if it wasn't the case. So I believe he probably got injured against United. If not against United, he probably got injured in training. If it's a training injury, then that's very unfortunate. That would be the 2nd time. Or is it the 3rd time? I believe John Stones picked up an injury in training at one point. Or a knock of sorts. So, like I said, we just need to watch with Diaz, just helping it in any way we can, because the last thing we want is Diaz missing tons of games. The player who I believe, and probably most people believe, should be City's captain, because everything he says in interviews is brilliant. Liverpool 7-0 and coming on Sunday. What a comedy show it could be. Watch Amorim win that one, by the way. I don't think he will, but it would just be classic football if he went on to win that. But yeah, I'm excited for that, and I will do watch along. Spoiler alert. As long as City aren't playing on that day, but I don't think we are. No, we're playing 3:00 on Saturday, aren't we? So it should be good. If our City team is serious, we'd beat Liverpool to stop them going on Centurion. If we beat Liverpool, that stops them from going Centurion. In the end, that makes my season. Yeah, if we cannot have Liverpool getting Centurions, what are they on right now? Because 4 draws and 2 losses was what got us Centurions. By the way, Brentford and Arsenal drawing 1-1. Don't know if you're interested. I've just seen that now. Let's see how far back I can go. 2017. Yeah, 4 draws, 2 losses to Centurions. Brilliant stuff. And what are Liverpool on? 3 losses. 1 loss, 3 draws. So they can another draw and another loss. Liverpool can still get 100 points. So 2 losses. Would 2 losses do the trick? Alright. I don't think Liverpool are going to get Centurions. That's my honest opinion. I don't. I think that they can possibly draw a couple more times. They can only afford to drop 5 more points if they're looking at Centurions as a proper thing. So I think they're going to draw. I think they have another couple draws in them and another couple losses. Probably maybe not losses, maybe like 1 or 2 losses. I don't think they're going to get Centurions. I think they'll get 90 up though. Arsenal score. Well, they just scored. It's 1-1 last I checked, or if they just banged one in. I'll keep an eye on it. Why not? But yeah, fingers crossed that doesn't happen because that would be awful to watch. Other players that we can talk about. I'm curious to see this player's injury record. Because I don't know, he doesn't play a lot of football, but is that just because he doesn't have the manager's favour, or does he just get injured a good little bit of times? Because last season, he constantly picked up some sort of niggle. Yeah, here we are. Last season, he picked up these 3 injuries. I remember that quite well. I think it was just a lot of injuries that were quite small. You know, to be fair, he missed 15 days. 15 games worth, which is a lot of games to miss. So a part of me does feel a bit bad there for his last season, but yeah, not really one for this season. Maybe I should have spoken about it last season. Kovacic, again, I think he has been injured this season. I know that. Yeah, kept out for 24 days, missed a good chunk of the losing run. Lucky for him. Still the only team to have 100 points. Hopefully it will remain that way. Arsenal's singing set piece again. Ole. Pathetic club. Whilst we sing champions again. Don't get me wrong. Brilliant set pieces. But if it doesn't get you champions, if it doesn't get you titles, how much is it actually doing for you? You know, that's my thing. You know, that's what I'd be saying if I was an Arsenal fan. This is great. I love scoring goals from set pieces. We're the best in the league at it. But there is no set piece trophy at the end of the year, is there? Corner FC. There you go. What other players could we talk about? I'm trying to think of some. I was about to say Kyle Walker, but he's fine, man. He doesn't get injured, which is a bit more of a curse onto us than it is to him. Either way, the injuries I've mentioned, they are what are making us suffer, because I want to talk about the centre-backs again, because that's where the bulk of the injuries are. We all know that. I've covered about 4, 5 or 6 injuries in that defence so far. So I'm going to just touch on that in a second. Just have to clean my glasses. Really smudged. Oh well. Better than nothing. That's a bit better. Yeah. Let's just search up Man City real quick. Oh, I want to have a look at Akanji. I think Akanji's fine. I just think he picked up some small underlined issues. Well, it says he's injured there, so probably best we do have a look at him, to be fair. So the thing is, here's our centre backs. I'm not counting Simpson Puse, but here is our centre backs. These 5. Diaz, he's missed. Once he comes back from injury, he would have missed about 8 weeks. Akanji, well, I don't actually know. Let's have a look at Akanji before I have this conversation. Quick look. Yeah, again, picking up. He's had 2 injuries as well in the back line. Luckily, this one didn't only kept him out of Switzerland games, which was quite nifty for us. And here he's picked up a couple. Now then, look, about 15 days between these. It's a 2-week break. I don't really know how long. I don't really know if this is a pickup on this, but again, it could be another example of rush back from injury. Let's have a look at the games he played too. So, adductor injury, didn't miss anything, but look, I'm going to guess that this was when he picked up the injury. Subbed off 45 minutes, I'm going to guess, is what happened. I can't quite remember. But look, comes back from injury, plays 90, and then gets 45 minutes in, gets injured again. I don't know if that's a result of bad injury management, but again, it's another injury that is dictating our play. Enjoying the stream, 3-1. Oh my lord, man! It's because I went to go check their score. Literally, I bet you. I checked the score. I say, oh, it's 1-1 if you didn't know, and now it's 3-1. Great stuff. Enjoying the stream. Big ups to everyone that's tuned in so far as well. Appreciate it. Again, this for Akanji as well. Pep's been saying he's had little injury problems all season, according to him, or at least for the past few weeks. Just little things keeping him in and out of the team. So let's go back over here. Bring up the point I was mentioning before. So look at these. Ruben Diaz, once he comes back, he would have missed probably about 8 weeks of the season. A good chunk to miss. That's about 2 months. Akanji, he's missed probably about a month if you include both injuries. Ake, Ake's missed, let's say about 6 weeks at least. John Stones has missed 6 weeks at least as well. So 6 weeks of injury, 8 weeks in Ruben Diaz's case, and we'll say 4 weeks Akanji, 6 weeks for these two. Josko Vardio's the only one that hasn't picked up an injury in terms of fullbacks, or at least not a memorable one. Kyle Walker, I think the first injury he got was when he was unfit on Boxing Day, or unwell. And Rico Lewis, to be fair to the lad, has been fine. So that's the thing. Here's our centre backs. We've got Simpson Poussey as well, but I'm not throwing him in this. So here's our centre backs. If Josko Vardio's the only one that's consistently fit, we can't establish a true partnership. By the way, Josko Vardio plays at left back more than he plays centre back. Just to throw that out there, leaving really Diaz, Akanji, Nathan Ake, and Stones as our centre backs. If these 4 can't stay fit, and Josko Vardio, okay, let's just use him, is the only one that plays centre back, and then they come back for maybe a couple games, and then they get injured again, you can't form proper partnerships. You can't have a partnership like you did in 2021, where Diaz and Stones went on like a 20-game run. Kept a ton of clean sheets, conceded little to no goals. Okay, if you can't have an established partnership, partnerships come through trial and error and seeing what works, seeing what gels, and then once you see something that worked, then you've got to let it truly sink in over games that they can, I'll cover here, and then if I mess up, you'll cover behind me, and if I do this, that means you can go in there because that's something that I don't really like. They can almost read each other, but you can't read someone when you don't know them. Okay, of course they know each other. These lads have been all working with Vardio for the very least for a year, and in Diaz and John Stones' case for like 4 years. They've all known each other for a decent amount of time, but it's different when you're on the field and you change as a person too. Diaz probably isn't the same person he was 4 years ago. John Stones isn't the same person he was when he joined the club. Did you see KDB didn't give the armband to Walker? Oh, really? Didn't he? Vardio's going to become very injury-prone very season. An injury to Haaland and season is done. I'd be curious to see how that went, to be honest. If Haaland got injury, I wouldn't be happy, but I'd be curious to see what we would do to change. Probably Phil Foden at the false 9. or maybe for a McAtee there. I feel bad for everyone went there, to be honest. I've probably thrown Phil Foden there because he actually did the role for a decent amount of time. Question: who had the most caps for City in 2024? Ooh. If Rodri stayed fit, I'd say him, but it wasn't Rodri because he's missed half of it, or at least a quarter of it. Most caps for City in 2024. Unless you want to give Divin Mubama a go at false 9. At striker. Apparently he's doing quite well. And he's made bench a couple of times. Anyway, back to that question. Trying to think. Won't even be the goalkeepers because they were rotating a lot of each other. Just on the topic, Vardiel played a lot of games this year because he's been very informed for most of it. And I can't really remember him picking up any bad injuries. In fact, you know what? On the topic of injury stream, might as well have a look at Vardiel. Might we? Missed 6 games here. Missed 6 games there. But again, yet to get injured. Is it Vardiel? Bernardo Silva and Jeremy Doku both at 37. Doku is very, very surprising. Is that overall caps or is it starts? Or is it just off the bench count? Because that wouldn't surprise me as much. But Doku being up there is a surprise, I'm not going to lie. But anyway, this has been quite a long stream, surprisingly long, 51 minutes. I don't often do streams that are, not games for more than half an hour, but it's not because I don't want to. It's just I kind of cover everything by then, but I haven't in this case. Big ups to everyone that tuned in. It's been a fun stream, to say the least. I've enjoyed this. It's been a bit of an insight to our injury record. Now then, transfer news. I'm excited to do transfer streams. I'll be surprised if I don't do them. Like I said, you've got a transfer video on the way within the next 24 hours. Big ups to everyone that tuned in. I appreciate all your support. You guys are great, as usual. And yeah, I'll see you all in the next one. Big ups.